Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now October 17th of 2025, and ever since the assassination of Charlie Kirk on September 10th, we have seen a number of celebrities, whether it's from the film industry or the music industry, especially those in the media, really taking advantage of this entire situation to either politicize it or to mock Charlie Kirk or Charlie Kirk supporters out there, and we have seen this time and time again for well over a month now, happening from so many well-known personalities out there that have either been in movies, television shows, or on specific mainstream media news channels, for example, and the list goes on and on. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, fortunately, we do have a handful of actors coming forward to call out the nonsense. You got those out there like Tim Allen, Mel Gibson, James Woods, Sylvester Stallone, and among others. And lately now we have, yes, Tom Cruise calling out all of the nonsense when it comes to a lot of these Hollywood celebrities using the Charlie Kirk situation to politicize it and to drag politics into their careers. That's really only tainting the industries or the studios that they represent that are a part of the massive film industry in Hollywood. Now, what's interesting here has a lot more to do with the fact that, yes, we do know that Tom Cruise did call out this before, about 9-10 months ago with the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing. That was another thing, by the way, and not related to the latest Jimmy Kimmel thing, alright? We're talking about how Jimmy Kimmel once again got overly political after the 2024 election. That was a major problem when it came to a lot of different actors and actresses utilizing that and dragging the whole Trump politics into their overall careers, and Jimmy Kimmel really doubled down on that as well. However, what's interesting though is that with the assassination of Charlie Kirk still to this day causing so many of those in Hollywood to say the most ridiculous things yet that are offensive about Charlie Kirk, one major development going on now involves more to do with more actors coming forward to call out other actors mocking Charlie. One of which now involves actor Tom Cruise, who decided to call out those in Hollywood taking advantage of Charlie Kirk's death. Cruise decided to deliver the following. We all need to approach the sensitive issues that happened in our country the past month with a level mind and a civil discussion. Once you start to go down the path of dragging politics into the middle of your projects, that's when you face a problem with your audience. And what really disappoints me as a filmmaker, and especially as an actor, that I see so many doing from my field of work, that they are falling that path. They are falling down that path, and I'm ashamed to see that happen, because they have lost their way. They have lost their true accomplishment of filmmaking and acting in this industry, and I think it has come to a point where many of those that either act or make movies, they have come to a point of taking it all for granted. The only advice that I can give during this time of loss and sensitive issues rising, and how it is seemingly interfering with our way of filmmaking and making films, is to just do your thing. If you're going to act, act. If you're going to direct, direct. But by all means, do not go just feel it's the time to act like a politician or a political figure. Because as filmmakers, that's not what we do. As one who makes movies and loves doing it, this is why it's important to stay away from sensitive issues like this that more often than not happen to be political. Is that once you start engaging in that forcing that on others, you alienate your audience. I was never about that. All I care about is making the movies. That's it. Simple. I mean, look, I have many projects I'm working on, and I just think many of those right now, in Hollywood, in this very rewarding industry, is that they are taking their valued life for granted and are unfortunately using their hard-earned fans to sway specific political outcomes. Now guys, let me just stop right there for one moment before I move on. Now we know that Tom Cruise is in the midst of working on Top Gun 3. That's going to take quite a long time to come out. At least 3 years minimum until that film arrives, by the way. And among other movies out there that are untitled. But we know one thing about Tom Cruise is that he did give a very rare lecture a little under 1 year ago, right after the 2024 election, when Trump won and had a massive victory across the entire country, is that he did put a message out there about separating politics from acting careers or filmmaking careers or whatever it may be, and he's doing the same exact thing now. But obviously he's diving into the quote-unquote sensitive issues, alright, and really not going too hard on the whole Charlie Kirk thing. Really not really making it all about that per se, but that's exactly what he's referring to. Now, we know one thing about this is that he continues, I think that's all that matters the most, or at least you try to. That's the best thing one can do right now with film. If you want to fall into politics, we really can't have it both ways. It interferes with the work. There is no moment where we should ever use political violence and push anything. It's just wrong. But all I have to say is, I love movies. I love making films. I want people to escape this world that can be troubling many times. People want an escape for a couple of hours, and some of those in our industry are doing everything to diminish that, sadly, and to halt that opportunity from growing in this industry. And that's, I'm sure, frustrating to many filmmakers out there. So, we know one thing about Tom Cruise is that he's probably like the last action hero, the last action star, I should say. But when you're looking at stuff like that, right, the fact that you have an actor, you have a filmmaker like Tom Cruise, who is making it very openly clear that a lot of these actors, a lot of these directors, a lot of those Hollywood celebrities, it's true, they are taking everything for granted. They are using their fame and fortune to drag politics into their career, and they're burning it down to the ground. And they already did that, because look at what happened to Jane Fonda over the years. Look at what happened most recently with, for example, Robert De Niro, Tom Hanks, George Clooney, Julia Roberts, and among others out there. Even author Stephen King, since 2016 when Trump first came into office. That's when you really saw a lot of shifts going on, not just in Hollywood, but also in all of show business, right? Whether it's film, music, television, you've seen this all around the globe, essentially. And to have a lot of actors like Tim Allen, Tom Cruise, Sylvester Stallone, James Woods, Mel Gibson, as a very small group calling out the insanity and doing so in a very level-headed way and a very civil way, as Tom Cruise puts it, is exactly what we need right now. And unfortunately, we don't have all that many actors coming forward doing this. It's only a handful, if you really actually go down to the nitty-gritty of it all. It's the only handful, really, existing right now that's calling out all of the problems in Hollywood, all of the problems with a lot of Hollywood celebrities that are literally just making things worse for a lot of the studios out there that are trying to make movies and are trying to actually put things together. But you know what? It's not just them to blame. A lot of the producers, the executives, and the CEOs running those studios, they are also to blame because they got very greedy. They were doubling down on political propaganda, political agendas. We saw this happen with Bob Iger via Disney. And Tom Cruise, I feel, is also calling that out indirectly toward the executives. There's no doubt about that. But one thing about all of this is that, yet again, Tom Cruise joins the group of Mel Gibson, James Woods, Sylvester Stallone, Tim Allen, just having the bravery, just having the courage to tell it like it is, right? Separate politics from your acting career or your filmmaking career or whatever it is. Even if you're a musician, for example, you don't want to drag it into that. But overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.